Hello everybody and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Wednesday, June 7th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
Please remember, everybody, you can help support our show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. Just $1 a day helps support us financially and allows us to grow this show so we can do more episodes and more shows. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty much the same. Dead tired, really hungry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
Is death coming for you shortly?
I wish. I hope. Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Maybe if you're lucky?
Yeah, maybe if I'm lucky.
Sure. Well,
Fuck.
I had a meeting this morning, which is it was a meeting. Whoa.
Is it Tuesday?
No, today's Wednesday.
Oh, thank God. I'm so happy.
I even said Wednesday at the start of the show.
Yeah, like I pay attention to the intro.
Damn, son, that's cold.
I pay attention to the part where it says, I'm Michael Schwan, so that I know what to say, and I'm Nathan Wood.
So that you're on track.
Mm-hmm.
Good on you. Good on you. Anything exciting happen today?
We had this guy come in with a name change.
Okay.
He had this regular white dude name beforehand. I'm not going to say it out loud.
That's acceptable. We'll just say Smith.
And then he tried to turn it in without a new name on it. So we're like, you have to put a new name. And he's like, oh, you're right. I do. I will pick my name. And it will be great. And it will be perfect because I picked it. And so he decided that his name was going to be Abdfeb, capitals, all of them, ABDFEB. And then his last name was going to be like Nom 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 Nom. I forget what it was.
Nom 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 nom.
But he was talking about why he wanted to change it. He was like, well, I am not Christian or Jewish or Roman, and so I should not have this name. I want to pick a name because I do not subscribe to those kinds of things. And I was like, good for you, man. Just go out and choose your name. In fact, I implore more people to go out and actually choose their name that they want.
Well, also, like, for one, it's really cheap to change your name.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to take note of and remember is that it's not expensive.
No, actually, I think it's only like... I want to say a name change is $125 up here.
Some states it's like 20.
No, it's not that cheap.
No, some states.
Oh, some states. Okay, I thought you said some would say.
No, some states it's like $20.
Yeah, and you could always get the fee waivers too if you just don't have money.
Well, and I suppose you could. I don't know if you don't have the $100 for a name change. I feel like you have other problems that you should probably address first.
I don't know. Sometimes the name change is kind of important.
Yeah, I guess.
I really enjoy my full name.
Kirsten in the chat room says they wanted to change their last name to Blood as a medical professional. Hello, Dr. Blood. What can I get your signature, please?
Shouldn't it be something like Fleb or something?
Dr. Fleb?
Yeah, because a phlebotomist is the blood doctors, right?
Maybe. I don't know. Phlebotomy? Practice of drawing blood from patients and taking the blood specimens to a laboratory. Okay, sure.
That's fine. Blood's still cool.
Hemo. Is it
Hemoglobin? Isn't that a bit in your blood?
Well, I was thinking of like hematology, which is the study of the physiology of blood.
Oh, okay.
And so that's why when you said phlematology or whatever it was you said, my brain was
phlebotomy?
Like, yeah, phlebotomy. I was like, wait, is that a thing? It is a thing. Get educated.
Totally is a thing. Full. Yes. As Kirsten says, full. P-H-O-L.
My iPad closed down. Is it open now? It's open now. Okay, cool. Let's do this.
10.
Artificial intelligence can now predict how much time people have left to live with high accuracy.
This is submitted by Dust of Oblivion 123 to our Futurology.
They can tell you just how much longer you have to suffer on this planet, Nathan.
I would really like. I'm the kind of guy that's like, yeah, says you.
Wow, that's pretty dark, Nathan. I like how when you tried to respond, it sounded like a choke. So, I mean, my brain just, instead of envisioning you trying to respond, envisioned you choking yourself. Because you're like,
It's all right. I actually did choke. I choked on my spit a little bit.
Gross. That's wonderful to hear and not, Anyway, so basically what they're doing is they're using precision radiology to examine your skin, your tissue, with basically CAT scans and MRIs. And it's not necessarily going to tell you when you're going to die. They're examining your body to look at your overall health and then using deep learning with artificial intelligence to turn that into an estimation of how much time you have left at your current state of health.
Right, so if you don't change your current health.
If you don't change your current health, if you don't, get into an accident, et cetera, et cetera.
Other thing, if you don't get murdered.
Yeah. Well, that's an accident, right?
No.
It can be.
If it's accidental, then it's manslaughter.
Yeah.
Not murder.
Manslaughter is just accidental murder.
It's different, right? Because it's labeled under manslaughter. So you can't charge someone with accidental murder. You charge them with manslaughter.
Yeah, and murder, literally, I was like, I wonder what the definition of murder is. It has...
Premeditated manslaughter.
Yeah, the unlawful premeditated killing of one human being by another, or kill someone unlawfully with premeditation.
Yeah.
So murder is you thought about doing it.
And even if you're just like, for a split second, you're like, I'm going to fucking kill that guy. That's murder.
Yep. Whereas manslaughter is the crime of killing a human being without malice, aforethought, or otherwise in circumstances not amounting to murder.
Mm-hmm. You just kind of... Maybe it was a hit and run. That's manslaughter. If they die.
So then what happens when it comes to like crimes of passion? Because I know that sometimes people like get off on cases because it was like, I caught him sleeping with my wife, and in pure rage and anger, I killed the guy.
Is that like temporary insanity?
I don't know. I'm not good enough with the legal stuff, and unfortunately, the person that's taking legal classes to be legally legal is out working out right now.
Legally legal?
Legally legal.
Wait, she's not legal currently? Does she need a green card?
No, not that kind of legal. You that insensitive twat. Yeah, I'm
taking a new angle on the show. I'm going to be strictly insensitive to literally everything.
Please no.
9.
Overdose is now the leading cause of death of Americans under 50.
Well, yeah, because they're fucking doing drugs. Submitted by Louis Gustavo to our news.
This is primarily opioids, by the way, as well as heroin.
Mm-hmm. Hey, how many overdoses from marijuana?
0.
Still.
0.
I wonder if there's been ever any overdoses of psilocybin.
I don't know, but right now, last year, the number of overdose deaths in America was over 59,000. That's a lot. Ohio has one of the highest percentages of it, with 4,100 people dying from drug overdoses.
Yeah,
that means out of 50 states, Ohio has 9% of the deaths.
That's not good.
It's not a challenge, Ohio. Calm down.
There's a big opioid epidemic going throughout the United States.
Well, and America consumes 90% of the world's opioids. Of the world's, 90% of them are consumed in America.
Well, I mean, you can go to a fucking hospital and be like, hey, shit, my kidney hurts, and they give you fucking Oxy.
Well, for instance, in Ohio...
I can fucking confirm this.
Well, in Ohio, they prescribed, in just Ohio, 4 billion opioid pills in 1 year. 4 billion.
Insane.
Oh, man, my leg hurts. Well, here you go. Have some Percocet.
I'm feeling kind of sad. Well, here you go, Vicodin.
I'll make sure you don't feel anything, and then you feel better.
Morphine.
Ohio.
More morphine.
Ohio right now is actually suing 5 big drug companies that manufacture prescription painkillers, saying that they knowingly didn't minimize the risks of addiction, that they knew that they were wrong, but they did it anyway for the sake of profits, which could very well be accurate, but it's a difficult thing to prove.
I'll tell you what, after having that problem with my kidney stone and being under morphine so much, I can understand why people love that shit.
Did that ever pass?
No.
Oh.
It's still there. But you know what? Like, I've grown to live with it. And it's grown to live with me.
Oh, no.
However, if it does want to pass, I will gladly take more morphine.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? That sounds like a good pain to not deal with, thanks to morphine.
Morphine's fantastic. Though, I feel like it's not the greatest thing that we should probably be giving people.
Same with Vicodin and Percocets and.
But
codeine.
I mean, you can't very well just sit there and be like, "Oh shit, we're in an ER scenario, and you're feeling like shit because you got like a knife sticking out of you." Well, instead of giving you morphine, here, smoke this doobie.
Well, also I feel like emergency scenarios are always different.
Mm-hmm. Like that's an except. I feel like we should prescribe more marijuana. Like if you see states where it's legal to prescribe marijuana and stuff, you see opioid addiction go down.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not just medically, but like legally in general.
It's something that needs to be addressed because it outdoes. Like people are always like the guns kill so many people. Opioids kill more.
People like to alter the way they perceive reality, either through drinking, through getting high. That's pretty much the only two ways I can think of, actually.
Well, and the other thing is that of the gun-related deaths in America, 2/3 of them are suicide.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, sure, that's a very big problem, but it's not necessarily the problem of people taking a gun and going out and killing other people. Although you hear about that more because the media likes to bring attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, when someone
in a negative light, we need to start talking about these things not positively, but like solemnly and somberly.
Well,
discussing why this is wrong with people, but in a not like a this is awful and you're hurting everybody and blah, but like, hey, let's think about it from other people's point of view.
Are you talking about guns or opioids or both?
All of it.
Sure.
All of it.
Well, and I think a lot of it is just bringing more awareness to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't know that there was this many overdoses in America.
Dude, opioids is a huge fucking problem right now.
And people are worried about marijuana getting legalized.
I have more friends than I would like to admit that are addicted to opioids.
That's understandable.
And it's just unfortunate because they just happen to, like, there's one guy who I have as a friend, I'm not going to name names, but, like, he had a problem with some concussions in college, and now he is.
That's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Has he tried something else?
I am not 100% sure.
Sure. I don't know. It makes me
so
sad.
I really don't like to talk to them about like hard drugs like that, but at the same time, it should be brought up so that you can try and correct the issue if it is.
Right. If you know someone that's doing bad things, talk to them. Make them stop.
But do it not in a degrading way. Like, do it like an actual conversation with them.
Yeah. Don't do the whole like tie him to a chair intervention thing. That never works.
No, it doesn't.
That's TV.
Haven't you guys watched the new remake of Evil Dead?
Nope.
Like, it never fucking works.
Dish ordered to pay record $280 million for unwanted robocalls.
So submitted by Zone Ranger MC to our technology.
Yep. So they had an opt-out program that, be like, we don't want to receive calls from you guys, and Dish was calling people anyway. Now, this case has been going on since 2006.
It's like 11 years.
Yeah, that is 11 years ago. It wasn't until 2015 that the initial decision came out, and it was going to initially look like Dish was going to have to pay $24 million in fines. And then a judge, U.S. District Judge Sue Myerscough, ordered Dish Network to pay $280 million, $168 million to the United States government, and $112 million split up between North Carolina, California, Ohio, and Illinois, which is where the majority of the calls took place.
Okay. All right.
Now, Dish already said, this is outrageous. We are going to appeal this decision, and then they'll go from there. The other problem with it is that
I feel like at this point they've already been proven wrong, and that they're just trying to appeal the process so that they can stall long enough.
Well, here's the other problem, is that if they do end up having to pay $280 million, it's not like you have to write a check right then and there. They'll go, okay, well, we would like to pay, $1 million every week for the next 280 weeks or something like that, whatever, however you want to break it down. But the thing is that then all they have to do is, because every single service like Dish or, your telephone has a fee involved, like, administrative fees or something like that. They can literally just increase that by $1 on all of their customers and pay their fine off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because they have 13 million customers is how many customers Dish has. So they would need $22 from each of them to pay off the entire fine.
Oh, that's not hard to do.
No. Like, and that's if you, like, you could literally charge each of them, like, $3 a month for 6 months, $2 a month for 12 months. So for a year, you increase their payments by $2, and there you go. You paid off the fine.
You're literally all right. So this is just a shuffle game. They're gonna pay out all this money, and they're gonna increase the prices, and those people are gonna pay it back, essentially with that money.
But then they'll leave the prices up, so then they just make more money in the end anyway.
Exactly. It's bullshit.
Yep. But welcome to how big companies work, and there's nothing we can do about it.
7.
Fossils discovered in Morocco push back origin of Homo sapiens by 100,000 years.
Fuck. This is submitted by Shiruken to Our Science.
Yep, so we discovered new skulls, well, new to us anyway, and they are Homo sapien skulls. They have the proper jaw, they have the proper teeth structure, so they're us. But they found them in Morocco, and carbon dating puts them back 100,000 years earlier than what we had previously found in East Africa, which is about 200 years ago. These skulls are somewhere around 315,000 years old.
Jesus.
Yeah.
They have a longer skull shape than we do.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty normal.
Right. It's really interesting. I want to see what they look like in real life, like actual alive ones.
Well, keep working on that time machine and let me know how that goes.
Fuck, why would I want a time machine?
I don't know.
That means theoretically, like...
You could live forever.
And I really don't want that.
Oh, no, Nathan.
The sweet... Did I tell you about the Jehovah's Witnesses that came to my door?
You totally did.
Okay, good. Sweet void, everybody. Sweet void.
6.
Release of James Comey's opening testimony.
This was submitted by Politics Moderator Bot Tower Politics. Oh my god. Everybody, happy Comey interrogation? No.
Testimony day?
Testimony, yeah. Comey testimony Eve.
There you go. Yeah, so sometime tomorrow, James Comey is supposed to do his full testimony with the Senate Intelligence Committee about the whole Trump contacts.
So excited to see what he's going to say.
They released his opening statement, which is basically just a breakdown of the conversations that he has had with Trump as a way of like bringing that information to the forefront so that people can get their questions ready ahead of time. And there are people talking about this all over the place of like, oh man, Trump's dead, or like, oh man, this is gonna keep Trump safe, blah 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 blah. There ain't much here. Like, I read the whole thing and there's not much here. Like, if you want to take a lot of things out of context, you can give a lot of ammunition to either side, but really, there's not much here.
There's literally like one phrase. That's, I need loyalty, I expect loyalty.
And that's the one that a lot of the people on the left have been, like, just throwing out there nonstop, is that, like, I need loyalty, blah, blah, blah. And, Comey's response to that was, I will be honest with you. And he's like, I need loyalty. He's like, you have my honest loyalty. No, I think Trump said, I need your honest loyalty. And Comey says, I will give you that.
No, I read that Comey had just stared at him.
Well, initially, when Trump said, I need loyalty, it's in here. Where is it?
I also read that he had asked Jeff Sessions to not be around Trump alone.
Yeah, he had already, well, no, Trump had asked Jeff Sessions to not be around Comey alone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The other way around. My bad.
And multiple times, Trump would shoo people out of the room so that he could speak to Comey alone. But the one that most people are taken from is a January 27th dinner when Comey went and had dinner with Trump at the green room in the White House. And the thing that I need loyalty, I expect loyalty, which is what Comey didn't answer to, because he's like, I don't know how to answer that. Like, and most of this in here is like, Trump asked me to do some things. I didn't do those things. The FBI is supposed to be an independent borough. We're not supposed to be associated with any political affiliation, and we worked hard to maintain that. These are the things that Trump said because I took memos of our conversations right after we had them. I don't normally do that in the past, but I felt with the sensitive matters that were being discussed that I would keep track of them. This is what I have for you. What are your questions?
On top of that, though, there was a guy who helped prosecute Watergate. I forget is his name, but he he says that Comey's statement is sufficient evidence for an obstruction of justice case, not that he will be charged or if there's any like bit for it. But apparently there is enough evidence, or is sufficient evidence.
Here's the thing, is that Trump claimed that he had been recording his and Comey's conversations. If that's true, then that is Trump kind of chopping off his own foot, because this does have sufficient enough evidence to look into charging Trump with obstruction of justice. But because all of these conversations were one-on-one, they were alone, none of it can actually be substantiated. None of it, you can't corroborate any of the evidence. None of it's hard enough. It's just his word against the other dudes. And so there is no way to actually get to any verdict or an indictment over Comey's statement. But if Trump did record the conversations, and you have those conversations where they can be listened to and proven that it was these two and that these words were exchanged, then you have hard evidence that goes, yeah, you said that. And even then, though, there are still complications with recordings and the amount of validation that they can actually give to an argument.
Mm-hmm.
But really, this isn't really anything that's really new. Like, we've already heard most of the things that are in this memo, that he said, that the Russia investigation is really complicating his life, that he asked Comey to, let the Michael Flynn thing go. And of course, like, I don't even know why the loyalty thing is fucking surprising. Trump has asked, that's been Trump's number one thing the entire time, is people that are loyal to him. That's all he cared about. Well, I mean, he cares
right,
about
but the
other
way
stuff
you
too.
say it in certain scenarios can be considered obstruction of justice.
Sure, but at the same time, this is text. Like, you can make your own tone however you want from written text.
Like, what we literally need is just those tapes if they exist.
And if they don't, then we go about our merry way.
And if they do, then they're already destroyed.
Maybe, I don't know, but it's not entirely relevant anyway, because, like I said, most of this we already knew, and none of it really looks good or bad for one direction or the other. It's Trump being Trump and Comey being Comey. Comey trying to be a very neutral, independent party, because he's supposed to be with the FBI, not anymore, but whatever. And Trump being Trump of, he's a very powerful,
Egotistical. Oh, man.
He's pretty full of himself, but that's okay. So, I mean, he was like...
Is it, though? Is it okay that he's full of himself?
You know what? Yeah, I think it is okay. Like, there are some people that are full of themselves that still did a lot of damn good.
I'm going to disagree with you on him being, like, him having the ability... Like, he should not be full of himself.
I will admit that coming from a very humble President Obama to a very full of himself President Trump, that there is a very stark contrast there, but it's not necessarily an overwhelming negative.
It is if you are, like, causing our allies to you're just ostracizing them.
That's not because he's full of himself. That's purely because of the decisions he's making.
I don't know. There are definitely moments where, like, I feel like with Twitter feuds, not the recent one, but, like, the ones with, like, Sadiq, where he's just completely just an ass and full of himself.
Sure,
like,
but I feel like pulling out of the Paris Agreement is a bigger blow to your allegiances than telling someone that they're wrong on Twitter.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. It's true, especially after you just visited the Middle East and struck up a bunch of deals with people who aren't technically our allies.
So, I mean, really, though, what's going to be the big thing is whatever the testimony is tomorrow. Because most of this, we already knew. And then tomorrow, they'll ask a bunch of questions regarding this, that, or the other. If anything comes out of that, I honestly don't doubt it. Like, I honestly doubt that we will get anything extra out of Comey. Comey's a very reserved dude. He was the director of the FBI. He knows what he can and cannot say. A lot of it he cannot say. So I don't see a lot more coming from this.
At least not in public.
Sure. But that also means that it wouldn't be on record.
Right. Unless they... I feel like there's probably, like, special Congress meetings where they can totally speak out literally everything.
Maybe? I don't know. We'll see, though. We just had to wait for tomorrow.
What about, like, subpoenas to produce?
Produce what?
Like, more information.
On what?
Classified information. They're fucking Congress.
You have to... You can't... You have to know what you're subpoenaing for. Like,
right, so, like, after this where he's very reserved and he gives little bits of information, maybe he gives enough information for them to subpoena him even more.
But they wouldn't be... I don't think you'd be subpoenaing him anymore. You'd be subpoenaing like the FBI or, FBI records or, the White House records. Because, like I said earlier, anything Comey says that doesn't have some form of hard evidence backing it up just becomes he said, she said bullshit.
Fair.
So, I mean, you can be like, no, you will fucking tell us X, Y, and Z. And he'll be like, okay, X, Y, Z. And they'll be like, we can't actually do anything with that because it's just words.
Sure.
So, I mean, maybe there is, but it's not going to do anything. Now, if he has information of where other information is that can lead to very relevant things, then that's important. But he might not have those because they might not exist.
Or they do exist and he just doesn't know.
Well, and the other thing is if they do exist, they're no longer in Comey's grasp. Like, that's not something he can get to or has access to anymore. He's just a dude now.
Sure.
So, I mean, if he has enough information that he can divulge to lead them on a path somewhere, then they can follow that path. But it won't involve him anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He
5.
is literally just the messenger now.
U.S. Congress calls for charges over Turkey embassy brawl.
This was submitted by Mono12334 to our news.
Yep. So over the entire, basically the open fight that happened between Turkish bodyguards as well as Kurdish protesters that happened right outside the White House in Washington D.C. It has now been requested any Turkish security official who directed, oversaw, or participated in efforts by Turkish security forces to illegally suppress peaceful protesters should be charged and prosecuted under United States law. That's what the resolution states. Turkey, in response, has demanded a full investigation, and that's where we sit.
How can you demand a full investigation on something that you already know? I guess you're just biting for time.
Yeah, I mean, House Speaker Paul Ryan already urged the Turkish government to just accept responsibility and apologize. Like, you're just making things worse. We know it's your fault. Just say it's your fault. Say you're sorry so we can move on with this because people aren't going to let go of it otherwise.
Fuck no, it's assault, dude. Extradite them to America for like 3 or 4 years so that they can serve their time.
I'm not even sure what the penalty would be.
I wonder what the penalty for assault in Turkey is.
Probably death.
Yeah.
Let's see. Basic assault or battery charges that involve minimal injuries or threats are usually punished as misdemeanor offenses. The punishment range for a misdemeanor offense is probation of up to a year or more in county jail. It's barely even worth the time.
It's all right. It's a whole year for them.
I mean, you can fine them up to 10 grand, apparently.
There you go. There you go. We'll find them. Each and every single one of them.
I mean, if it's aggravated assault, then it gets higher up there. But even then, it's still not doing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what we just need is an apology. Like, I'm pretty sure if they're just like, oh, sorry, our bad, we'll stay in our country because we're, fucks, then people will get over it.
Yeah, definitely.
4.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, never mind. This is not important. Go ahead.
Okay. St. Petersburg Church of Scientology is charged with illegal revenue of $4.8 million.
This is submitted by Hasherin to Our World News.
Yep, so somebody tipped...
Good. Fuck them.
If you can't tell, Nathan really doesn't like Scientology.
I am normally a very religious tolerant person. All right? For instance, I had that great conversation with those Jehovah's Witnesses, and they felt like they had to come back to converse with me more. And that was great. I enjoyed that. I had lots of talks with Mormons growing up. It was fun. I was part of a religious institute growing up. I have a religion now, even though it's technically kind of not really a religion.
Mm-hmm.
But like, the Church of Scientology is a load of shit. It's written so that you can get money from the people who believe in you. Fucking L. Ron Hubbard, fucking really decent science fiction writer, created this piece of shit religion.
So, did he actually have any involvement with the religion itself, or just wrote the book and then people took it as gospel?
I'm pretty sure he had written it as a religious thing.
Okay. Either way, so the Church of Scientology has been under investigation in Russia since January of 2013. Found out that they had been...
Yes, Hubbard initially developed the program of ideas called Dianetics.
Okay, so they had been investigating the Church of Scientology in St. Petersburg, found out that for the last 4 years they have been doing illegal commercial courses and programs. That has brought them in 276 million rubles, which is equivalent to $4.8 million. In March of 2017, the Federal Security Service searched the Dianetics and Scientology Center near Moscow and found that they're just a bunch of dirty liars that have been taking a whole bunch of people's money and haven't been reporting it, or even did so legally because they don't have the licenses in order to do the things that they've been doing, and so they're under arrest.
Well, I mean, Scientology pretty much everywhere is that. Anyway, let me read this. Hubbard initially developed the program of ideas called Dianetics, which was distributed through the Dianetics Foundation. The foundation soon entered bankruptcy, and Hubbard lost the rights to his seminal publication, Dianetics, The Modern Science of Mental Health, in 1952. He then recharacterized the subject as a religion and renamed it Scientology.
That's terrible. Well, all right. Moving on now. I'm done with Scientology. Don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, because they're pieces of shit. Fuck them.
Washington, D.C. bars to open early for Comey hearing watch parties.
This was submitted not 9 hours ago by Chornu to R. Not the Onion.
You son of a bitch. It's my fault. Anyway, so bars across Washington, D.C. are going to be opening as early as 9 a.m. tomorrow to host viewing...
Oh, fuck. Are they selling that early?
Yeah, to host viewing parties
shit.
complete with food and drinks.
Oh, man, I want a fucking pint at 9 in the morning.
They're going to be serving FBI-themed fare, and also as well as allowing you to nurse covfefe cocktails.
Covfefe cocktails. Is that like a coffee liqueur?
Probably. I don't know.
I hope so. Coffee liqueur is delicious.
Either way, we'll find out. We'll bring you guys a big old hunk of information tomorrow after we find out if there is anything truly relevant to bring you tomorrow after the Comey Comey
Well, I mean,
testimony.
we're probably not going to report about bars anymore.
No, but not.
However, I feel like more places should have this.
Well, I mean, yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Fuck no.
I hit the wrong button.
2.
Football found. Fuck.
Hold on. I have to make an impromptu clicker out of DVD cases. This is number 2, take 2, action.
Football fan shouted, "Fuck you, I'm Millwall," and took on knife-wielding terrorists with his bare hands.
Oh, I love soccer fans. Holy shit. And then his friends brought him a magazine.
That said,
and on the front it said,
you should
learn
learn
how
to
to run.
Yep. You want to say who this was submitted by?
Oh, I'm sorry. It was submitted by Wounded Donkey to our news.
Wounded Donkey. Goddamn. All right. Roy Larner.
What a jackass.
Roy Larner, who you've probably heard is the hero of London right now. He's the one who took on the 3 people who were running around after driving through pedestrians on the London Bridge that were running around stabbing and killing people with knives. He took them on fisticuff style when they barged into the bar shouting, Islam, Islam, this is for Allah. He stood up and said, "Fuck you, I'm Millwall," and started fighting all 3 of them single-handedly, telling everyone else to run away. And he stood there fighting them, and every time they would say anything, he would repeat back, "Fuck you, I'm Millwall," until finally the 3 guys ran out of the bar and ran down the street, and then he ran outside to chase them and went, "Oh God, I'm actually pretty fucked up. They cut me up a lot. I need to go. I need to go to the hospital."
When the fighter realizes he's at 3 HP.
He's like, "Well, I had already had 5 pints, so I was feeling all right. It's not too much, but it definitely."
Oh, he's a barbarian.
It was enough to keep me going.
He went into a rage.
He has now been called the Lion of the London Bridge.
Good. Fuck you. He's Millwall, bitch.
Yeah, right. Fucking Millwall.
Fuck Abfeb. I'm fucking. My next D&D character's name is Millwall.
Power to you, guy. 1, I'm glad you're not dead, and 2, I mean, everyone has that fight or flight thing, and yours is apparently really centered towards fight.
I'm not even surprised someone like this did something like this, because like, Have you seen fucking football riots over there?
Yeah, they're fucking crazy.
It's insane. There's a whole movie with fucking oh god, Elijah Wood written about it. I think it's called Hooligans. I'm gonna check that out.
1.
Paris Agreement. So
shit.
I'm gonna read both of the titles real quick. North Korea accuses Trump of being selfish over Paris Climate Pact.
All right, so these were submitted by Snows Nothing to Our World News and submitted by Cyanosobalamin to Our Politics.
And that second one, the headline is EU will ignore White House and work directly with the United States on U.S. states on Paris Agreement. So first thing we're going to be talking about North Korea. North Korea, Pyongyang came out with a statement today to say that the selfish act. That the move.
Green Street Hooligans.
Sure.
Sorry.
Pyongyang said that Washington's move represented the height of egoism and the moral vacuum, seeking only their own well-being, even at the cost of the entire planet, and that the selfish act of the United States does not only have grave consequences for the international efforts to protect the environment, but poses great danger to other areas as well.
Wow.
Pyongyang also linked Washington's climate policy to its unreasonable and reckless actions against North Korea's nuclear program, basically saying that look at everything the United States is doing. They're oppressing us. They're oppressing the climate. They don't want to help anyone but themselves, and fuck everybody.
Wow, when North Korea's not wrong.
There are 194 parties in the Paris Climate Agreement. There are 3 that are not. Us, Syria, and Nicaragua.
Motherfucking Nicaragua?
Nicaragua felt that it came out and basically said that it was too much of a burden, that they didn't feel as though it was that beneficial to them.
I mean, I can understand. I feel like is their country less developed? Like, I want to actually know how their country is.
I don't know. They mainly criticized the deal for not being stringent enough and letting big polluters off the hook. So they didn't feel that it did enough and it was just too much money. And Syria was, they basically said, we can't agree to it. We have bigger problems. We've been in a civil war for the last 6 years. And
because we're motherfucking Syria,
yeah,
bitch.
Can we fix the civil war first? And then once we figure out just how broke we are from killing each other, then we'll talk about it.
I mean, at least they're saying that you're going to talk about it after they get done, fucking killing each other.
What, in 30 years?
I mean, if that's how long it takes, I mean, at least they're not causing super amounts of pollution because they're busy killing each other.
Man, dude, the U.S. ambassador to China resigned over this. He was like, I don't want to be associated with this anymore. I'm done.
I can understand. Because, like, goddamn, this is fucking stupid. We should never have withdrawn. But,
well, one of the nice things that is coming from it,
but the CO2 doesn't cause enough.
One of the nice things that's coming that's coming as a result from it is, one, a lot of the private sector is getting involved, and a lot of people are going to be committed to it anyway. The European Union has been in discussion with several of the U.S. states like New York and California, that have said, in lieu of Trump's decision, we are going to continue with our commitment to the Paris Agreement, regardless of whether the United States government as a whole is dedicated to it. And the EU said, that's great. We'll talk to you individually. We'll just ignore the executive branch. We don't need the federal government. If you all want help, we will welcome you in as your individual state or your individual party, and we will work with you on achieving the climate goal.
Okay.
Basically,
so, I mean, go ahead.
It basically saying, fuck Trump, fuck the federal government and the administration, we'll do it anyway.
Well, I mean, states are allowed to do stuff like that, right?
It's true. And like I said either yesterday or the day before, I really feel like that's what Trump wanted anyway, was for the bill to not be purely on the burden of the United States federal government, and for individual state governments or private companies such as Amazon, Google, and Apple to shoulder more of the burden, so that the financial weight of it is either spread out or put on the private sector rather than 100% purely on the federal government.
Sure. I mean, I can understand that, but at the same time, I feel like the federal government has a duty.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like we look like massive assholes because we withdrew from the Paris Agreement.
I mean, we are kind of massive assholes for doing that, but...
Well, and did you see the article that said that we're not even technically allowed to pull out of it for like 3 years?
Not until like right before the election of 20, or it's like right after 2020's election.
Yeah. Like, you're not allowed to pull out of it until 1 year after 3 years into the agreement. So that becomes 2020.
Yeah, which it'll be up right when the election comes. So that's going to be a huge thing that people are going to start talking about when it comes to this election.
Yeah.
And honestly, based off of these next 100 days, if Trump doesn't fucking turn around and do anything good, anything positive for everybody and not just for his side, then he's not getting elected again.
I don't see him getting reelected anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't see him running again.
You don't think?
I mean,
Because, he's talking about it.
the election.
That's all he's really accomplished is running.
The election is 3.5 years away, first off. Like, that's a long way away. Trump has said multiple times about how hard the job is, how he didn't realize how much work it was, et cetera, et cetera. Unless he gets into the groove of it and really starts to figure it out and also is not impeached, I don't see him wanting to run again in 3 years.
Yeah, he probably is pretty... He's probably been done with it for the last, 90 days.
Like, the dude's a rich retiree. Like, he's got a lot of money and likes to just relax and enjoy his time and play golf or, go and watch, shows or whatever. And he'd probably like to go back to doing that. And I don't blame him at all. Like, if your choice is work really hard and not ever truly be appreciated, no matter how good of a job you do, not saying he's doing a good job, but no matter how good of a job you do, you're still someone's enemy. And all it does is literally suck the life out of you, because I've never seen a president look better coming out of the office than when they went in. They always look like shit. And or would you like to, relax, eat your expensive food, relax in your expensive house, tower, wherever, and, watch figure skating and play golf? That second option sounds a lot nicer.
Yeah, I would like figure skating and golf.
Compared to, the presidency is a very thankless job that literally sucks the life out of whoever is sitting on that chair.
Dude, did you see Obama? Yeah, sucks the fucking life out of you.
And I feel like he got off pretty good.
You know who else got off pretty good? Fucking Bush.
Which one?
Junior?
Yeah.
He looks pretty much the same as when he was elected. Well, at least not now, but when he
I
left.
understand.
Look at me!
Nathan, what'd you care about in the last 24 hours?
I did some stuff.
What is some stuff?
I wrote a lot about my campaign, like the dwarf queen's name and the elf queen's name.
Good job.
As well as the names of their capitals.
Okay.
And then I even drew a map.
Oh, snap. Is that one of the shells?
No, it's not going to have shells. It's going to have, just the continent itself, or the planet itself.
Oh, okay. You're not going to do the multiple shell thing?
No, we're talking about multiple dimensions.
Oh, sure. That works too.
But I'm a huge fan of my map and everything. I'm actually really surprised in myself. I feel very proud of myself, which is not something that usually happens. But I think my favorite is the undead area, because that's going to be called the Democratic Republic of Geistflusternberg.
I'm down. All right.
It means Ghost Whisper Mountain.
Sure. Okay.
And they elect a lich to be the Archlich, and the Archlich that is currently running, or not running, is currently the Archlich is Archlich Archibald Mordenkrad, Duke of Schwarzburg. And Schwarzburg is a mountain in the top corner here.
Very German.
Yeah. The undead and the undead and the dwarves tend to be more German. Right now, I'm writing the gnomes, oddly enough, to be more Norse.
Okay.
And the elves are definitely either Finnish or Welsh.
All right. Good on you.
Yeah, I like it. I'm pretty excited.
Good. There's a couple things that I am excited about. First off, one is the one that a lot of people are not excited about, and that is that they announced that they're going to be making a live-action Cowboy Bebop series.
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
And I'm pretty damn stoked about that.
I am too. Although they're probably not gonna have fucking Keanu Reeves be Spike Spiegel like they have been talking since 2003.
Well, that's because this is an entire Keanu Reeves was looking at being Spike Spiegel for the Hollywood-made movie. This
Right.
is going to be a live-action series, and it's also going to be executive produced by Sunrise Studios, who are the people that made the original animated series,
Yeah,
which
so
is
it's
why
probably
I'm
gonna have a bunch
excited.
of. It's probably going to have a bunch of Japanese actors in it instead.
Well, that's the main reason I'm excited, though, is that the people that made the original one and it made it the, amazing legacy that it is, are going to be making the live action one, or at least producing it. So their hand in it will hopefully guide it to not being shit.
I mean, I would hope. They've been producing some decent movies out of there. Like, I personally kind of like the Death Note movies, even though they left out quite a bit. I also really enjoyed the Battle Royale movie, even though that was a clusterfuck if you've read the book.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really enjoyed Ghost in the Shell,
Sure.
as quite a bit of people did. But that was an American-made thing. The Japanese just agreed with it. What else did they make? I haven't watched the Terraform Mars movie, but I heard good things about it. I haven't watched the Parasite movie, but I don't think that's out yet, which I'm really excited for because fucking Parasite is one of my favorite things ever.
I really need to watch that. That's one of the things
Like-
that I actually want to watch.
Oh my fucking god, it's so goddamn good.
Like, I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, I need to see that.
It's so fucking good. And it's only like it's not very long.
It's like 2 seasons, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like one season. It's like 24 episodes, I think.
It depends on who's making it, because normally, like, anime seasons are 13 episodes, so...
Oh yeah, that's fair, that's fair.
All right, though. Let's go ahead and get out of here, everybody. It is Wednesday, so we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is our last show for the week. We'll be back Thursday, June 8th. If you want to catch the show live, we do go live on Facebook at 6 p.m. Alaska Daylight Time, the 7 p.m. if you're on the West Coast, such as California, and 10 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, like New York. Otherwise, though, catch us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play. Throw us a 5-star review on either of those platforms to really help the show gain some visibility. If you want to follow us on social media, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of those are at iReaditCast. If you want to find me on social media, I am at Schwan Michael. Nathan is at Bimmenstein. Otherwise, other ways you can support us is just letting us know what you think about the show, or if you have something you want us to talk about. Send in an email to our inbox, which is feedback.ireadit@gmail.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. And of course, if you can spare 50 cents a month, $1 a month, $5 a month, if you wouldn't mind buying one less cup of coffee a month and giving that to us instead to help the show grow. We want to do more shows. We want to do more episodes per week. We would like to eventually be a 7-day-a-week podcast, but that requires money. So if you would go to patreon.com/dailyinternet and help us out in any way you can, we would be most thankful. Otherwise, everybody, that's it. That's your 301st dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everybody,
Don't get away!
have a good day, everyone.
Goodbye.